which I recorded it. Okay, for those of y'all that were not here, when I was speaking before the recording started, I said, right, that's the fast forward speed motion of that, and that's all we said. I'm sorry. You know, when you get too much going on in your head, you get really wacky, right? That's the way I feel right now. I don't know if it was you, Brother Ron, or yeah, I think it was Brother Ron. We were talking before he came on here because we're going to do an interview together after the broadcast. We were going to do one before the broadcast, but then somebody pulled up in the driveway, and I'm like, how does anybody even know where I live? Right? I'm like, I'm looking at this car, Illinois license plate, and I'm like, okay, should I meet them at the door with, no, that wouldn't be very nice. Let's see what they do. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so Brother Ron was saying to me, he said, you are one busy guy. I said, Brother Ron, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, it is non-stop something happening every waking hour of the day. And text wise, right? Let's see, how many do I have? I actually had 100 texts the other day. That was a record for me. I broke the record. I got 100. Normally I get about 90 something texts a day, but I had 100. So, and then emails, we won't even go there with email. Oh, 1,464 emails. Now that's not daily. I get about 500 a day. So, do you think I'm going to read them? Nah. And I hate to do that because there's so many people that they're trying to reach you, but there's so much junk that comes through to us. Like, how do you even wade through it all? So I think by the grace of God, God directs me and I end up catching the right ones that need help and I'm able to respond back. Um, anyway, though, uh, let's get started with this nonstop Zoom today. So the whole idea, though, like I said, is that if we were to take and create, and let me see if I can go. I want to go to lifewave real quick and see if we've got that. I know that they have some props of their own in the back office there. So let me log in here to it. Oh, where's there it is, sign in. And let me share a screen with you guys. Share screen.
Brother Steve,
Yes, sir.
this thing you sent, or Yana sent, I can't remember which one of you did, got all the patches on it.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me. Oh, wait a minute. Let me stop share the screen so I can put it bigger for everybody. All right, now go ahead and put it up there, brother. Now we can see it. Yes, there we go. There we go.
Well, I put the LifeWave symbol at the top on what you guys had already done.
Right.
On the back, it's got the contact information and places they can get info.
All right. Did you on that one? Did you also put like your email address where they can reach you and things like that?
I did not put my phone number. I did not put an email.
Okay, because see, like what you did there, that's a good flyer. And let me go back to share screen. I want to see if they've got this. All right. Let's go to resources. Maybe under product education tool. Let's see, X39. Let's see. Don't know. What I'm looking for is, like, for example, something we could actually take and let's say blow it up bigger, and we could use that as a prop. Okay, that's what my thought is on this. Let me go back. That's not a good one. Licenses to operate. Korea. Social media assets. I'm not really finding what I'm looking for. I'm just trying to see if they have anything there that would be. What my thought is like if we're doing a, let's say if we wanted to be able to do a, um, if you're going to, let's say a flea market's the easiest way for me to think of it. I know that Brother Lee Holt has got a Spring Fest coming up where he lives at, which is close to Nashville area, or maybe he's near Memphis. I forget exactly where he's at. Um, Marketing tools, maybe that would be where it's at. Let's see here. See, let me look at the PowerPoint viewer just out of curiosity. Let's try that one there. Okay.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
And what life ice for body might puncture. Now, how do we know, in addition, that the human body emits light? Well, we can use.
Okay, let's say, for example, like in this type of an image that we have here, I would try to get more creative though with the different images that they might have. But that one's showing the infrared light. That's still not a good one there. Let me just look through that real quick. That doesn't seem to be it. Let's see. Now these, of course, these are, by the way, when you're dealing with the PowerPoints, my thought is in a PowerPoint, we might find an image that we could pull off. I can get something to open here. I'm not the brains for opening these things. Okay, I see. I keep downloading it, I think is what's happening. Let me go here to downloads. Oh. Downloads. I don't know what's going to open it. Let's just try it and see. Okay. Oh well. So much for that idea too. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it will play it. Hang on. No. Oh well, it's not going to work. All right, I know what I can do to find an idea for you guys. Hang on, I got a better idea. Let me do this by the internet.
So you're thinking about something like a thermal imaging. Is that what you're kind of thinking of, Stephen, just for an image?
Not necessarily the thermal imaging, but that could be. That is a good idea too. For two reasons. All right, let me do that. I'll do that. Let me get rid of the .com. Hang on, LifeWave, and let me put on there thermal imaging and then Eon, and then I'm gonna do images. What the heck? I got some kind of virus in my computer. It puts up all kinds of crazy advertisement every time I try to search something. All right, here we go. Now we got it. This is better, right? Let's take this image right here, for example. All right, this is showing the life wave with the word eon and the inflammation from a thermographer, thermo camera. We actually almost got into thermography. Me and Yana did back when the company first came out with thermography. I wish we had done it. We just never did do it at the time. Um, but at any rate, there using a thermography machine, they're able to do the before and after pictures. And the thermography, when you take the picture and you have all these high red areas there, that's the inflammation. After they have the 10 minutes on with the patch, of course, the red is gone and the inflammation is greatly reduced as a result. Now, what my thought is let's say, for example, you're going to if you guys only knew what's sitting outside my window, a rooster and a chicken. I guess they want to know what we're up to. Anyway, forget that. So the thought is, though, is we could take an image like this, print that out, and make it like the size of a poster. Ideally, I would say if we could frame it, that would be great. Or even like if you go to, I think people like Walgreens do this as well. They'll put it like on a poster board. So like the picture would be on a poster board. You could have that up there. And then that's one example, but let's just then also go with stem cells, stimulate, and then, here, and this would be a great idea right here too. I don't know which, I mean, you could use any kind of poster you would want, right? But let's say you took and did this one here, right? But you can add words to the board when you're creating it because you want like a catchy phrase, uh, that would cause someone as they're going by to want to stop and inquire about the product that you have. So maybe you would have it in bold across the top, and I'll just give you an example, just show you how easy this is to do. I use a screen capture program, right, in my computer. So when I capture that, I could jump on here, grab it real quick, hit the letter on there, and we made a plastic business card out of there, right? Stimulate your stem cells uh, without surgery. Maybe something like that is what you put on there for your caption across the top of the poster. And I can go in here and I can quickly reduce the size of the letter so it all fits on one line, center it, boom, and there it is, right? And then you could put maybe at the bottom of your, and here's the thing, I don't mind helping do the graphics for you guys. Like, let's say you want to do it and you just say, Steve, I found the pictures I want to use, or if you can find some pictures for me and put it together, then just email it to me. I'll go get it printed out. I would gladly do that for you, but let's just say here, like in the case of Donna, all right, we have Donna Sellard, and then how they would get in touch with you, 423 7812, who knows? I'm just making up a number, right? 9999. All right. So then you'd have that on that poster board, even though the person, oh, hang on, didn't work right. There we go. So that way they would be able to see the information about you as well. But also, I would have some kind of, even if it's a flyer, you don't have to necessarily invest in a business card at that point if you got something coming up pretty quick. But if you can do a business card, I prefer we did them out of plastic. right? And I'll just make sure you guys can see it real quick. Let me do the stop share just for a minute. I'll unhighlight you, Brother Ron. So I know you're better looking than I am. So see, that's why we got to keep you up there on the screen. So let's see. There we go. All right. So there we go right there. So what we did is trying to get it where it doesn't do that reflective thing there. I think it's clear now. I needed to make the picture or the print bigger, but basically it has all of our contact info on there, including our website. I am going to redo this card and I'm going to add thisisitinfo.com because when people want to know more about it, that's a good place for information. And on the back side, I show all the different products as well, the sleeves as well in there. And then I have, of course, I have my website on there, and that's what you'd want to do with your business card. I will tell you though, when you do the plastic cards, DuraCard is the name of the company that does that. And then um oh, almost threw Ron out of the room. Poor Ron. Um, All right, so the thing is what you wanted, DuraCard, let me put that in the thing for you. They're a little pricey, but the thing about it is it's a good tax write-off. DuraCard is the name of the company that I use. I've been using DuraCard for the last 20 years, 25 years, because I owned a trucking company and let me see if I can find, and we besides doing medical equipment and copiers, on the side we did pianos. I actually moved over 1,000 pianos a year. So I did a lot, needless to say. And as a result of that, that's when I first started using DuraCard. I started using DuraCard about 25 years ago, and or maybe even further than that back. And I'll never forget when I started using it, I would get calls from people that I had done business with originally, maybe 3 or 4 years later. And the only thing that they had was my business card still. And they would say, you just don't want to throw it away. It's just too pretty of a card. And it's actually the one we had was a picture of me and Yana. We were on the beach with her grand piano. Because I had the ability to move stuff very easily. So I moved, at that time we had a Yamaha, 6-foot Yamaha. So I moved it out on the beach and I had air ride dollies so they could go across sand easily. And so people would never throw away the card. And so it was a very, very pretty card and a beautiful scene on the card. So even like, and I don't mind throwing that together for you too. I just took the graphics off of the internet and I did one for Brother Lee Holt. And and you can then just send it in and they'll print the card out for you. Now, let me go back though to the screen. Oh, and here we go. Because besides that, there's something else I want you guys to be able to see. All right. And okay, messed me up. Let me go back, share screen. Yeah, right there. All right. Now, the other thing is, because even though everybody in the business constantly says, stay focused with X39, and I do get that. It's the foundation, all that kind of good stuff, right? This is a good idea too. For example, I hate that advertisement junk. Here we go. The new X39 wrinkle reduction, activating stem cell leads to an increase in the collagen in the skin, which decreases the appearance of lines and wrinkles, right? You could print something like this out. Now, they already have on there your, what does that say? Heathpatches.com, whoever that is, you know, but we could take and do that same thing. And all we got to do, if we wanted to take and do this, we could just go in there. We could copy that, make a poster out of it, and cut that guy's website right out of there. Voila, boom, boom. Looky there. He's no longer in the scene. And then put our information. Anything that catches the attention of the people while they're there. You might even, besides X39, you might want to add on there. Like for example, we could also throw in there, and by the way, I can change even the fonts on there. We could put on there Alavida. Patches. And then I would lower the size of the font. And in this case here, what I would do if I was doing it in this thing here, I would actually change the font to match what they're doing, the color, etc. But the other thing that especially when we're dealing with, the people trying to look young, that is attractive for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. But there are other issues too, like Brother Ron has this beautiful testimony of stage 4 kidney failure, right? And although we know the patches do not heal, at the same time, they do give the body the ability to repair itself. So you could even have something like, this is a good one here. Look at that one there. Activate stem cells. That's by itself is amazing, right? But here's the one that really gets my attention as well. And that is, and I think this is almost a must, right? We want to look at LifeWave and energy. I can't spell, guy. And guys, answers. I probably got that all messed up, right? Let's see what we got for, here we go, energy enhancer. Okay, even this one here, right? It's a great foundation view, and we could easily just take a picture of this right here, and then we could incorporate several things on here, right? Like for example, right? Kick Red Bull. Let's just see. Well, it's not giving me what I'm looking for, right? Let's see, kick the Red Bull habit. And you literally could take, even if you wanted to take this like this right here, well, you can't see him drinking Red Bull. You could do something like this here, right? You could actually take this lady here. You could make that little bitty picture there, right? And we could take and I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. Now I'm going to take see, now we actually have it on the same page there. Increase the opacity. That makes it basically stand out a little bit better. I would rather have something on there like kick the Red Bull habit and then put on there, something along the lines of, uh, you know, why spend so much money for energy, and why risk your health? You know, you have to kind of get creative with the verbiage on there. You know, Dr. Tesla's probably getting a good laugh right about now, but he's got the brains to be able to tell you how to do that. Which, by the way, I'll show you something I did learn. Right, this is amazing. You want to get the right verbiage. I'll show you how to get the right verbiage. Let me first come up with a little saying. This is part of one of the books I'm working on, but let me just, this is actually from a message I did on Abridged, and then I was starting to work on it, on writing it. So, and I just got started, so I haven't got much there. Let's put on there. All right, let's see. Expensive and not so great for health. All right, just that one word there, Red Bull, expensive and not so great for health, right? Now, I don't know if that's a good way to say it. So if you want to know a good way to say it, then we're going to go over here to, let's see. Chat GPT. And I'm going to ask it, Red Bull is expensive and not particularly great for your health. That's what ChatGPT recommended that I write in there instead. So it does sound a heck of a lot better than the way that I was going to say it. So then you could take and come in here and let's see, let me do it use a different font here. We'll use this one here. Do. Well, and we need to change the something I'm doing wrong here. There we go. And now this is not a very good way to put this together, but the whole thing is to create some poster boards, right? Very short, you want it, you don't want it lengthy at all. You want it to the point, but something that gets people's attention, right? Energy enhancer, you'd put on here off to the side something more along the lines of non-transdermal, dermal, no drugs.
Brother Steve, are you showing something?
Are you guys not seeing anything I'm doing?
Well, it's just it's like a search screen or something at Yahoo.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you're not
Yeah, we're
seeing it.
just seeing the Google page. Yep.
All right, let me see if I can figure out how to show this to you guys in. Thank you for letting me know that. To do. Let me think how I can do this. Let me hit stop share. That might help me to come back to it. Let's see. Here we go. Now, are you able to see that? Whoop. Oh, what did I just do?
We can see the picture on there.
All right, can you see where it has energy enhancer? It has the girl with the Red Bull cans now?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, good. That's what I wanted you to be able to see. Basically, what I was trying to do is to create a poster board. Try to give you, let's see, no drugs needed. And if I can get this to work right, hang on. All right. Now, the thing, what I was saying though is, and this is just really quick. I'm just throwing something together to give you an idea. I think we need to put a little bit more time into it, and I could literally create several of these things where you could take it and go get them printed at, like I said, at a Walgreens or something, and put more thought into it. But then what you can do is you could take, whether you have a flyer that you make up that's got your contact information on there, and you could even go, let's say, for example, if you've got people that you've signed up that live in your area that are part of your team already, if you want to take with and have somebody go with you and say, hey, look, let's work it together. Even the cost of putting these on a poster board, we'll share the cost together. Because I don't know exactly what it would cost to do, but making some poster boards. And the reason why I say this is because in the case of the energy enhancer, I would really like to put some thought into it. Maybe even instead of just the Red Bull, I would actually have uh, maybe a picture of a truck driver, because I know that truck drivers are notorious for using these stimulants, Red Bull, these 5-hour energy shots, and I would try to come up with something creative that shows that these are all bad. And you have a product that could give them energy without the side effects. And even on there, Navy SEALs first to use energy enhancer. That would be another catchy thing that we could put on something like this. Because here's my thought: if you're at whether it's a spring festival or something like that, or if you're at a flea market to where people are passing by, let's say you have 3 different boards up there. You wouldn't want to do too many, but let's say 3. And you choose 3 products, X39 naturally, you want to choose X39. I would even do another board, for example, and I'm going to have to stop sharing the screen because I realize now what it takes for you guys to see this. I'm going to first pull it up, and then I'll share with you what I can find, okay? What I'm thinking about is protect, or let's do it like this: dangers of EMF 5G. All right, so I'm looking up images, and this is a good image, so I'm going to share this with you guys. Gotta figure out how to get back to you. Zoom, there we go. All right. So in this case here, the magnetic radiation, if we took and made I mean, this is so eye-catching in itself, to where if you have that there, and then we maybe all you do is you would put, I'm going to capture it. Right now, I've captured it, and I know you guys can't see what I did, so I'm gonna do the stop share so I can make sure you see what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna go back to share so you can see where I've captured it. Let's see, which one is the capture? Here it is, this one. All right, so now you guys can see where I've captured this. Now, what I would do is, in this case here, and again, it takes time to really be creative to think of what you're going to say. Dr. Axe, all we'd have to do is I can go in there easily, right? And I'll show you in a minute how to get rid of that. But let's just say on here, we can help you. All right, just something that simple, right? We can help you could be on your poster board, and maybe, ask me how. And that way there, let's say somebody's coming by, they walk by, they see that, and they're like, okay, all right, how are you gonna, how could you help us with electromagnetic radiation? This is where we would talk about with that person there, the X39, X49. And you could even at this point, you could theoretically, you could have your phone, using your phone as your internet source, And you have a small screen there to where you could play for them, where David Schmidt talks about the X39, X49, theoretically creating a Faraday cage within the skin. And they did, in these studies that they did have success of the participants that suffered from EMF radiation. They were actually had improvements on their symptoms. So it's a way to introduce it. Now, by the way, if you ever want to get rid of something like this here, this Dr. X, all I have to do here, I can go in here and actually kind of like highlight it, right? That's what I can do. And then I can change the color of the highlight to black, and voila, I just got Dr. X completely off the screen. That's how easy that is to do. So this is what I'm thinking about. And of course, I just did these very, very quickly, but what I will try to do this coming week here is I'll try to really put together some very nice boards to where I think this would really be eye-catching, eye-captivating. If any of you guys have any ideas, please send them to me. Let me know what your thoughts would be. And then that way we could create our own props. And those of you that want to do that, we can take, and then we can just email you these graphics, and then you could go have them printed out and put on a poster board. I guess you guys know what I'm talking about when I say a poster board. They have
Yeah.
these. It was kind of, the poster board is kind of like a hard, almost like a styrofoam type of hard styrofoam. And in Walgreens, they can actually, I think Walgreens does this, they can literally put the picture right over the top of that where it's solid. It's very light, but it's very solid. It's not going to fly away or anything. Then it would just be a matter of some way when you're setting up where there's a little tiny easel or something like that that would hold them up for you to where people could see them as they go by. Uh, that's just my thought there on being creative on starting a business. Other than that, the other thing is that for me, I can't help but talk about it when I meet people. And for me, it's more of a passionate reason behind it. When I see, and it's funny because I can't say the elderly anymore because I'm starting to get into the elderly category now. But you see people that are older and you realize that they're going through things in their life. I mean, granted, every one of us, I mean, uh, and we know that once you hit 60, you're not producing stem cells any longer. And when we have that ability to be able to produce the stem cells in our body, it's going to rejuvenate a lot of things within us, and it's going to give us a longer lifespan than what we normally would have as a result of that. The other thing too, though, David had mentioned, is if you guys were catching that first part there of the video that I was playing on there, he talked about how that uh, people that have vegan and vegetarian diets they found in the case studies, they did not do as well on X39 patches, and they discovered it was because the diet. And so that's when he says on there are some things that vegans can do. They had to go back and redo the studies because when they did the case studies, the vegans and vegetarians that were in those case studies that they were doing, they basically failed. They weren't producing the results that they should have, whereas the people that are carnivores, well, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? Like, just make it look like, you know, like the wolf chasing, never mind. I'm just saying that as a joke. But carnivores, uh, their diets are balanced enough where they were not missing those key elements in there that they need for I think of the PKU, things like that, in order for that to work. So he recommended for vegans and vegetarians to make sure they increase their bean intake, or at least tofu. I don't like tofu very well. I absolutely despise beans. Now, I'm not necessarily a vegetarian. I do eat fish. And so for me, you know, I'm more of, I guess they call it a pescatarian. But there, I kind of do it in spurts. So I know my health is not the best that it should be. So I'm really waiting for that nutritional supplement that they're coming out with that helps the people like me to do better with the products. And I think too, that has a lot to do with why we get what they call the one patch wonder, or people that get early results earlier than others. Because I get some people that are writing me, they'll say, Steve, I've been doing this now for 2 months and I haven't really noticed anything as of yet. And the first thing I'm thinking of is their diet. Because for me, I'm slower, but see, I don't have good nutrition, period. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. When you've got a very bad diet to begin with, it's definitely going to make things much, much, much worse. So, so that's my thoughts there for you guys. Anyway, you guys have any thoughts or questions you want to mention?
On that one poster you were just showing,
Right?
you could also say something like, great 5G protection. And
Okay.
that would grab a lot of people's eyes too.
All right. That'd be any of these type ideas. I'm going to write that one down. And Donna, if you come up with any other kind of ideas, or even if you guys see online, and those of you that might see this as a video later and you're watching it, email me, put it in there, poster board ideas in the email or something like that. But if you guys happen to run across, let's say you see, I would love to find an image of somebody kicking a Red Bull can or a Monster drink can, kick the habit, something like that, to where we can show that, or Red Bull, and are you wasting your money on Red Bull or Monster drinks or caffeine or whatever? Because in reality, I mean, I never really did the Red Bull. My dad did these Monster drinks, but it's like, what is it, like $4 or something? It's like insane price for a can of this stuff. I did at one time, I used to try those energy shots, 5-hour energy shots. They're like $3 or $4 for a little bitty bottle, but then it causes muscle spasms. So there's so many issues and so much. I mean, people have died from doing these energy drinks. I think Dr. Tesla can tell you about that. But yeah, people have literally, had heart attacks because of, I don't know what it is that does it in the drinks, if it's just too much caffeine or whatever, but they're just very dangerous to some degree. And with knowing that, and then to realize the energy enhancer, not only is it going to give you a subtle energy improvement, as well as like Brother Ron brought out, and I actually got it, the product called Shine. That definitely gives energy boost as well. But again, those energy boosts are just subtle. And then of course, X39, the stimulating the stem cells, the X49, you know, because if we get some, my thought is too, you never know when a person's walking by what would catch their attention. If we're only focused on X39 and the person walks by, stimulate your stem cells, especially some people, it doesn't click to them. There's not any reason for them to think about stimulating their stem cells. Normally it's somebody that has dealt with an issue. I think even the idea of a poster board about, uh, if you have a loved one battling Alzheimer's or dementia related illnesses, then this may help. Something like that. Because that there again, it's a board that catches a person's attention, because every one of us knows somebody that's battling that. And knowing that from our own experience, my aunt, and then the sister that does the products as well, her sister with Parkinson's, we had two testimonies right from the very beginning that it changed their lives. And that's something that would be an incredible board to have up, because I'm just thinking of the main things that would capture a person's attention that we might be able to do. So I'll try to put together some this week and to where I can share that next week with you guys. All right. Anybody got any thoughts or questions you guys want to share? And I am using glutathione on the cat, by the way, Dr. T. So I just started her. I'm doing it about, I normally no more than 3 days a week right now. So, and it's only this first week, so we're going to see how that goes. She doesn't like it either. She tries to lick it off.
So everybody knows why these energy drinks are so bad, I'm sure, right? Everybody knows.
I don't know for sure. I would think caffeine, but I know like on the energy shots, even though they use a B vitamin in there, I would get horrible muscle spasms from them.
Well, I never really paid attention to 5 Hour Energy in particular and some of those. I just figured they were herbs. I didn't pay attention. But when I finally looked at them, yeah, it's just basically sugar and caffeine. And, sugar is like crack, pretty much.
That's what I thought you were going to say originally. It was just,
Yeah.
crack cocaine.
So I have a story about caffeine. When I was in veterinary school many years ago, I had like my junior year when we had like 2 finals a day for like 4 days. I was up late with a bunch of friends studying for this last day. And so I taken a bunch of what were the caffeine no dos. I'd taken a bunch of no
Oh,
dos
yes,
with
yes.
with the coffee. And we're sitting around there, and I've got a stethoscope because we just came out of a lab, and I'm feeling kind of bad. So I listen to my heart, and it's going boom, 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 boom.
Playing
And I looked at
Beethoven
my
with it.
friends and I said, I don't think this test is that important to me. I'm going to bed. So, that'll caffeine will do that. So that's my little caffeine story. And that's what people are doing to themselves.
I
So,
have an idea, Dr. T, for you. Tonight, I'm doing an interview with Brother Ron, and on a different subject altogether. But something I was thinking about that would also help you, because the two of you have information that is very interesting for the public in itself. You are very good, Dr. T, also with the dangers of the vaccine and stuff like that. I think that we should do an interview on that together in the very near future, and go that direction there without getting into LifeWave. Publish that, and then this is what with Brother Ron, because Brother Ron has a very interesting story because he's dealt with some very interesting ET experiences in his life. So we're going to be doing an interview on that issue. And but what I told Brother Ron is that, and I know that he's oh goodness, what's her name, Brother Ron? Linda Howe. Linda Howe's wanting to interview him already. So she's already asked me, as soon as you get through interviewing Ron Gunner, she says, let me know because I want to bring him on my program. In your two cases, it's easy for me to promote you guys individually with the different aspects of your stories to where other people would pick you up and want to have you on their program. I think though, in relation to that, and I'm saying this even with any of you guys that are out there that would have some kind of story similar to this, or something that we could share with the public that would help you to get picked up on another channel as well. So think about this as you hear this, and it might be somebody who listens to this later, that's had a very unique story that's happened in their life that they would be willing to share to make public. But in this case here, let's say, for example, Dr. T, you're extremely knowledgeable on the vaccines and the injuries of that because we talked about that before, or even 5G, things like that. Have you on the program, discuss those things in depth. Then I already know the people are going to be, we put your contact information in there. So if you want to know more about, and even when I do the program with you, I'm going to say the same thing. If you'd like to support the work that they do, and on my program, I'm going to just say email them and they'll tell you how you can help support, right? And you could do that even when you go on the other thing, right? But here's the thought though. Like when we have you on and you do the interview and because people inadvertently, they want to help support other works that people do. Just depends on how the person is moved by that. So when they reach out to you and they ask you, I'd like to support the work you do. I heard you on Israeli News Live. What can I do? How can we support you? That's when I would say to them, well, the easiest way to support me is going to be a way that's going to bless you as well. I am a distributor of LifeWave. It's a stem cell, you just something very brief you can send back to them and say, if you decide you would like to try it for your family, and I know it's going to benefit you and bless you, that's an easy way to support the work that I do because I earn commissions from that, and then allow them to do that. I think that would help, especially when I get you into other spheres and other programs as well, because different people would pick up wanting to interview you for different reasons. But at the same time, I think I think it'll work. Let's just put it that way. I think it would work in doing that. So, so that's the reason why, not to mention you both have amazing information that our audiences would love to hear. But I'm just trying to think, because I would want to interview you regardless anyway, but why not try to use that that interview to reach out on other platforms, and who knows, you could be on with John B. Wells, for example, and either one of you could end up on John B. Wells's. You may end up getting John B. Wells may when he hears, if you on their program, you can just go ahead and say, I represent LifeWave. You want to support the work I do? Here's my website link and everything. Look, let me help you, and in the process of helping you, you'll bless me as well. All right, and then just do it that way there. I think that's an idea that might work, and I think it's worth trying.
Well, I'd sure like to hear about Ron's UFO stories, that's for sure.
I'm going to interview
Sounds
him
very,
tonight.
very interesting.
I hope he doesn't get abducted in the middle of the interview.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Well, that would be really bad, wouldn't
Although if that was on camera,
it? That would really make your show then.
There you go. All of a sudden, hang on, cat at the door wanting in. Oh, God.
Linda Moulton Howe, that's pretty big time. That's cool.
I actually talked to her in Kansas City. Let's see, I'd been in the early 90s, I guess.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'd love for him to get Linda, because Linda knows about LifeWave, because I told her, but I told Ron, I said, if you can get her in, get her in. It don't matter to me. The same thing, if I get you, another person I think that'd be very interested, especially with you, Dr. T, on your knowledge there, would be Clyde Lewis. And Clyde is going to give at the end of his broadcast, he's going to say, how can people reach out to you? How can they contact you? And, how can they support the work you do? to me, that's because you're giving the benefit for the people as well as it'll benefit you as well. And I think that's an amazing thing to have happen. Now, Donna, if you've been abducted, by your husband or something, we could put that out there too. Oh gosh. So, but yeah, and listen, I mean, there's more of you guys that are listening. Maybe something that you already guys know that you're aware of that you would like to share as, so I'm just saying this also for others that are listening. Because we always like to have guests on about different topics and things like that. So if somebody's out there that would like to share information like that, um, definitely let us know if you've got a story or something that we can share with people, and that it would help benefit you as well for that. So it's different ideas there to just throw out there for people. So, all right. Anything else, guys? Other than that, we're going to go ahead and probably end this here in just a second here, because we're going to go see if I can get Ron abducted a third time.
Hey, Stephen, did you find out anything on that Atlanta conference on where it's at and
Oh,
more details on that?
yes. Hang on one second. All righty. June 25th. And it is, let me do like this here. Karen, do I have you? I don't know if I have you on my phone or not.
No, you may not. I can give you my number.
All right, let me do that then. Go ahead and let me stop recording so other people